Razor. And welcome back to the studio, friends. I've no hat today because it's hot. It's lovely. We're all having a great day today, but I've got the glasses on, and I'm not throwing them. So that's my usual signature. I'll lash tonight. We're joined in the studio today with Bernard Conlon. Bernard, thanks for coming into the studio.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Good man.
Funny.
First of all, I'm going to give a few shout outs, Bernard, and then we're going to crack on with the Banter show.
Okay, you work away.
Excuse me, Matthew T. Metzler. 6 t-shirts and all the stickers for the American punk band. I love it, brother, and thank you very much. And there's Banter bands on the way to America for you. Also want to shout out to Miss Anufa. Our viewers are now in Dubai. Big hello to everybody in Dubai, and a big hello to everybody around just watching. Everybody is tuned in. A big hello and a big razor, and especially to Phil Howard and Joseph V. Sultana. There's a big meeting on in London today, film meeting about Reaper's Shadow, and the middleman, I'm sure, is taking precedence over too. So lads, have a good one today. We'll chat soon. Now, Bernard, how you doing, buddy?
Not so bad, Tony, not so bad.
That's
it's
good.
nearly as hot here as it is in Dubai, isn't it?
It is. You know, at the same time, I think I'd like to be in Dubai. You know.
Yeah. Well, you need to have money to be there, Tony.
Yeah. Well, it's simply to get the solar panel charged up, Bernard. You know yourself. So, Bernard, where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born and bred in Glengormley on the northern outskirts of Belfast, also known as Newton Abbey. And but parents of country parents, one from Tyrone and one from Monaghan.
Oh, one from Monaghan and Tyrone. Monaghan's not too far away from us, as you know.
Not too far away from here
not
at all.
Not so far, yeah.
Castleblaney man. My father was a Castleblaney man.
Oh, Blaney man.
Yes.
Would you quit? Yeah. Would you quit? I know a few Blaney men out there. A big shout out to everybody in Blaney and Monaghan, indeed. You know, there's a couple of great pubs there in Monaghan's, McKenna's and all, good rock bars, you know. So that's where the parents came from?
Well, that's where my parents came from, but we were brought up in Glengormley, which was a suburb of the city. And in those days, it was a fairly quiet suburb. It was on the outskirts, just on the green hills, and the glens of Antrim were a little bit beyond.
Yeah, and it's up in the height, Glengormley, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's North Belfast, up in the height.
It's known as the North Pole of Belfast because it's so cold.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it so cold, or you get a cool reception if you go there?
Well, a mixture of both.
And big Paul McKeown, big shout out. He lives up in the Whitewell there, so
very good.
It's up near the same department.
I know Whitewell well.
Yeah, at the Whitewell well, at the very top. He's at the very, very top end of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I'm down in Uri for a few months. I've been doing a lot of various things in my life, but I was in journalism. And I'm actually working on developing my own communications projects, and as part of that, I'm spending a few months with you good people in Destination Uri. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm on the couch today.
That's why he's on the couch today, friends. I thought I'd invite him into the Banter show, because we met several times and we always had, a slight bit of banter in the corridor or whatever, and then I says, must get that man into the Banter show. And fair play to him, here he is. That was a week ago, wasn't it? But
that's a week ago.
You
yes,
wouldn't
indeed.
think it,
No, and I almost forgot about it, but you're a man true to your words, so...
You heard it here, friends, only in the Banter show, you know. So you were the journalism for years.
Yeah, I was involved in kind of doing a bit of political research, and then got into journalism, and I ended up over in continental Europe for many years.
Wow.
In a town called Brussels.
Oh, Brussels. I'll see.
And I worked as a freelance journalist there.
That's the headquarters of the EU, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
The European Union. Yes, that controls all our lives now.
Yes.
But I was there for a number of years, and I wrote. I worked for a small publishing company there for 3 years, and then I went freelance for many years after that. And learned all about how the big machine works, or how it doesn't work,
The big EU machine?
Big EU machine, yeah.
The big European machine.
Yeah.
Does it work? Is it working well? That's what I want to ask you.
That's a big question, Tony.
Thank you.
It's a very big question for a hot sunny afternoon like this.
You couldn't even quantify that question, could you?
No, well, the thing is, there's a lot of economists and lawyers based in Brussels who draw up laws and regulations and directives that control every aspect of our lives, and they control every aspect of our lives almost before we realise it. And now Europe is well, it affects and has an impact on everything.
On everything, literally.
Yes.
Even if you go out fishing,
Yes.
you don't think of it. If you go simply to go out fishing, you have to follow EU directives, don't you?
Exactly. And you know, I remember years and years ago. Well, I think working in Brussels, if you work in a place, and it's 24/7, you take it for granted. But it's pretty complicated stuff. I remember writing about stuff over there, and you wondered, what's this about? But you get used to that. But people in far-flung places from that centre don't really take such a big interest. But now, as I say, I think everybody realises they should have done, because we're in it up to our necks.
Because they were behind all that. They were making laws then and everything else. And
Exactly.
These people just no, I couldn't be
Too boring.
I couldn't be bothered going to that meeting today. And it was, in effect, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Some of the, when you look at some of the footage back in even of EU meetings in Brussels.
Yeah.
One day the place could be packed.
Yes.
The next day they could be,
That's right.
2 or 3 over here.
Yeah.
Very, very sparse. So when I take it's when all the sparse days, the laws were getting.
Well, that's what
pushed through,
happens.
probably.
It's they used to talk about smoke-filled rooms. There's a lot of detail. Look at every aspect of life. People don't like dealing with the detail, and a small number of experts deal with the detail, and then wham bam, it's.
Read the small print.
Read the small print. Exactly.
And if you actually were you there to take note of everything that was going on there?
Well, I was a freelance journalist there, and I also was involved in doing some contract work for MEPs, and I used to write brochures and publications, some of which were produced by some of the European institutions. But you couldn't follow everything. But you had to specialize in certain things, or you were commissioned to do certain things. I used to do some work for trade unions, for example, who were running conferences, that sort of thing, and I used to have to produce a publication out of the conference, that kind of thing. Writing. But if you're living and working in a place like that, it's a small world, and it's like you don't see much beyond it.
You're caught up with it.
That's your universe.
Yeah, you're caught in that.
Yes, that was for a long time. That was my universe, and you socialize with people who are working in that area, and you socialize with other journalists and writers, and what they call in Brussels consultants, who are basically lobbyists, people who spend their day kind of trying to influence the lawmaking or the lawmakers.
And that doesn't seem right in a in a real and just society. That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah,
that there is people that can influence what way a law goes. That just that's yes. There's a lawmaking process, and it takes a certain period of time for a law to be made, and there's, I suppose, a certain amount of putting the feelers out, and the people that have a real interest in how that law is going to be implemented will try to influence, and they have their people on the ground knocking on doors, and see, it's a whole learning curve out there, isn't it?
It is. It's a pretty intense process.
And I'd say it's complicated. To say it's complicated is probably an understatement, is it?
I guess, if you had to do, to perform any task or job that you don't know about is complicated. But if you're in a situation, you know about it, it becomes less complicated.
Yeah.
It's like anything, if
takes you a while.
If I said to you to work behind a bar counter tonight, Tony, you never work behind a bar counter, it would be complicated. How do I pull a pint?
Yeah.
You could
I know how to drink one.
Well, we all do that. We all have that skill, in this country.
We're highly skilled at it, aren't we?
We're too skilled. And our right elbows are generally well exercised.
If it's whatever hand you use in this country, if it's used for lifting drinks, you've got the stronger dominant hand, haven't you?
At one point, Brussels was nearly going to change the size of the pint glass.
Oh.
We got a bit upset about that.
I'm sure we did. That's why that law wasn't changed. There would have been tourism just going over there.
See, we all lobbied against the change of that law, you know.
Thank God you got that one right. That was close. Wow. There you go. We nearly lost our pints, our friends.
We had to drink out of litre glasses, and we just couldn't have adapted to that, I don't think, in this country.
Just since you mentioned that, I know there was a local bar down beside me there, and the halfings you get, the measuring jars that come, you put the bottle in upside the optic.
Yeah.
They were 0.5 of a milliliter over the recommended. The recommended for the customer.
Right.
Recommended use for the customer.
Right.
0.5 of a milliliter.
My goodness.
That's probably a half a thimble.
Yeah,
but now the optics cost 80 quid each.
Yes.
The fella bought them in good stead, and then one day Weights and Measures came in and says, no, the EU has changed this.
Yes.
It's now 33 instead of 33.5.
Yes, indeed, yes.
0.5.
Yeah.
And that guy had to scrap them all.
Yeah.
£80 each.
Well, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I mean, that's,
I'll tell you what, the customers weren't too happy either. They're losing 0.5, you know what I mean?
What Europe is basically, the Europe that we've got now is basically a big market. And it's what the EU or what Brussels does, they want to have a uniform market from the west of Ireland to the east, to the Turkey, east of Poland.
Yeah.
And if Ukraine, for example, comes into the European Union, then the border will be with Russia. So that's part of what's going on there at the moment in the eastern part of Europe.
Wow.
Ukraine, a lot of people in Ukraine want to become more integrated with the European Union, and
the rest want to stay with Russia, don't they?
Yes.
And this is what the trouble's all about in Ukraine.
It's one of the issues. So it's turned the whole European thing into not such the issue of the boring details, but it's coming into
now there's a bit of trouble involved.
Politics, you know.
Yeah, there's trouble involved now, and it's with a superpower like Russia. So
yes, indeed.
Don't rattle Russia, in other words,
super, large countries and whatever, and spheres of influence and all that kind of stuff.
Just now that we're there, big shout out to all our friends out in Russia. There you go.
Anybody in Moscow?
Oh yes, Christina Doyle. Hello, Christina. Big shout out to Christina.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Oliver Brecht in Germany. My good friend Ollie Brecht. Good man indeed.
And Yuri people in over in Russia, is that right?
Well, I don't know whether they're Newry people, but they're tuned into the Banter show. I know that.
Good.
And last night we got a lady out of Dubai. So Miss Anufa in Dubai, the Banter show's in Dubai now. So we're all over the place. Australia. My friend's home from Australia. Big shout out to Mickey McGuire, Big Red Mickey. He's only home. I tried to get him on the Banter show, but he's going away today, tomorrow. And then I think he's in Italy or somewhere. You know.
Well, Tony, you were good. You brought in the substitute. I came off the subs bench this afternoon, didn't I?
No. You were booked in today.
I know.
He's at it. See these journalists, these Brussels journalist friends. You have to watch them.
Ex-Brussels. Now
you're hitting me with the EU laws there. You know what I mean?
Now Newry based.
and you're Newry based now, are you?
Well, I come down every day from Belfast. I'm a Belfast based, and I'm coming down 3 days a week. Down to Newry, so it's nice to get to see the new city of Newry, and it's looking very well in the sunshine. I have to say.
There you go. You're very welcome. You're very welcome into the city.
I have to say the people are pleasant and friendly.
That's good.
I haven't heard an unpleasant word since I came to the gem of South Down.
Oh, there you go. Well, we hope you don't hear any unpleasant words, you know. If you do, you'll probably hear them on the Banter show first, you know what I mean? Only jokingly. So you're travelling now, and you're going to be here for a while.
I'll be here for a few months anyway, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm putting together. I was a journalist now. I'd be in the last few years I've done communications work, facilitation work with the community sector in Belfast.
Oh.
Including the peace building sector and working in some disadvantaged areas. That was interesting and challenging, I have to say.
I was just going to get there. I'd say that would have been both interesting and challenging.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do it.
It was good because in a way I'd been working for many years, as I said, in Brussels, and it's interesting, but it's very abstract. You know, you're writing about stuff that you're completely detached from.
Yeah.
Whereas if you work in conflict resolution or peace building on the ground in Belfast, the two communities come head to head. That is where real life kicks in. You know, it's real people, real lives, and you know yourself, Tony. Belfast people don't mince their words.
They certainly don't. They certainly don't. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same as all the big cities in Ireland. Mm-hmm. Any of them big cities in this country, they'll all voice their opinion to you.
That's it. That's it.
But it's the history, the trouble of Belfast. They're that bit more sharper on it, aren't they?
It's a tough old town.
It's a tough old town. It certainly is.
And I kind of they didn't let me. I was one of these guys who had lived abroad for a long time and written about complicated stuff, but when I went to, I was in outer West Belfast, and they didn't take that into consideration. They didn't care whether I'd been in where I was. I got plenty of slagging, and they didn't put on the kid loves for me. They told.
That's bad.
You get plenty of slagging and
slagging.
And if you can't take it,
you better get out of there. And that's basically that, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's the same here in this town as well. There's loads of people can give it. But if you give it, you have to be able to take it back.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. I have to say, I did enjoy.
Did you stick it out?
I spent a year. I was on a 1-year contract in a place called Outer West Belfast, and it was interesting. I have to say, I did some interesting stuff. I set up a magazine there, and I did some film work there, and I found that really enjoyable, I have to say. In fact, rolled my sleeves up and learnt the basics of some film work, and that was because what I was encountering there was interesting. So it actually challenged me. I enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time, had a sense that I was doing my own little bit for creating peace. So, you know, after being away for many years, coming back, and I had a sense that I was giving back to the old town that I was from.
There you go.
You know?
And it is good to give back. You know,
if you get an opportunity, it's good, Tony, because we're all just human beings trying to
get through.
Yeah,
trying to get by.
What if we can contribute something, but if you contribute something, you're also learning something. And I learned as much as I contribute up there.
So it was a double-edged sword. You got it both ways. Yeah.
If that's not a good term.
It's a good pun to use for it, isn't it? for West Belfast.
Although they don't use swords up there.
No. But if you come out with one that would make them think, you know, that's interesting. All right. But it is great to meet. You know, you're giving back. It's like me coming in here and meeting anybody on the street, or people saying to me, listen, you know, I've an event coming up, or hey, come into the Banter show.
Yeah.
I love giving back the same as, you know. Well, so come into the Banter show, friends.
Yeah. Well, it's like been back down here in Uri. I'm seeing how this is a very interesting organisation here, and I'm learning about how it's working, what they're doing, and as Tip O'Neill said, all politics is local, and so is the media. You know, local. What's happening on the local level is important.
Yeah.
And it's interesting using the internet to you're global and local at the same time.
It's you've been in the journalism.
Yeah.
When the internet came out, it must have completely. You must have went, what is this? When how long were you on the internet? Really.
Well, when I started, I don't want to say how old I am or how long I've
we
been
can
going.
work around the dates, but you have to. You know what I mean? Come up to your 40th birthday and all.
Put it this way: when I started, the internet was a twinkle in somebody's eye, and even computers were just kind of very new to the scene. In fact, I remember when I started writing first, I was using the old typewriter, and the computer wasn't even on the scene. So
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
When that came on the scene,
yeah,
and then all you had to do is search.
yeah.
The first time I searched, I went, this is just unbelievable. I can't believe this is actually doing this.
No, it is unbelievable. Really, it still is a novelty.
Because we've been pre-internet, haven't we?
Yes, we're the pre-internet.
We're the pre-internet
generation.
we're the old generation, the new internet generation.
Technology, Tony.
Oh, we're still learning, for God's sakes. We're still, but it is what I'm saying to you as a journalist.
Yeah.
When this internet came out, you must have went, hold on, I can do all my research on this thing.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. It must have been wow.
Yeah, we can do a lot of our research, but and I know that we have to take a lot of what we come across in the internet with a pinch of salt.
Of course. And newspapers and
yes, you have to use the same old human thing called intuition.
Yeah.
And that'll never become out of date.
Yeah, out on the ground, get out, meet people.
Talk to people.
Yeah,
real people, not just in virtual time.
Yeah, of course.
Like what we're doing now.
Just like what, exactly, this is real. So give them all a razor there just at the minute. Razor, look, he's doing the razor. Right? He's doing the razor.
I'm getting the pint for that, aren't I, Tony?
He's getting but then we have to talk about your age. I'll tell you what, we're slightly overran there a second. I'm only after copping on there. We're going to take a short ad break, friends, and then we'll be back soon after this.
Right.
try to do in respect of all the decisions that I made.
I'm here today with Mr. Danny Doran and Yuri Mann, originally from the Old Moorcounty Road in Europe.
Very, very big welcome to the Armagh ladies. You've Sinead, Mags and Sean here.
Hi, welcome to Destination Baby. It's a new magazine series brought to you by Destination Yuri.
If you want to watch this show from the comfort of your home on your TV, then all you have to do is get your hands on our brand new Roku box where you can watch all the amazing shows we have here at Destination Yuri. Simply get yours now by calling us on 028 308 34010 and get yours today.
Right, and we're back. And me and Bernard's having the crack here in the background when the advert's on there. So we had a good conversation there, didn't we?
We were sorting out the world.
The world. Forget about Europe. Forget about the EU or Brussels. We're coming for the United Nations.
That's it. we have found the solution here.
Well, it's in the Banter show here.
Yeah.
Just get them all in here. Any problems you have, get all the protesters up in Belfast. Get them down here. I'll sort it all out in 5 minutes. You know yourself. Like.
There's a great old cliche, which I love, but they always say about this part of the world we have a problem for every solution.
Oh yeah, we know how to create problems over here. That's for sure. Years of practice we have. Years and years.
We're getting a bit soft now. The other parts of the world are actually seeming to be much worse than we are. Actually.
Yeah. Well, thank God. Listen, we had our time at that and carry on.
Well, we did indeed.
And we don't want no more trouble. Let's face it. No. Who wants to go back there? Especially when you see the streets, Bernard. You know, all the streets are done up. Mm-hmm. You know, there's all new pavements. Every shop in Newry's painted.
Yeah.
They're trying to brighten the place up, and they're doing a good job of it. You know.
I must say, I'm coming up to, as I said, up and down between Belfast and Newry 3 days a week now, and I do know Newry because my father he was a Monaghan man, and he had friends in Newry, so I knew Newry fairly well. But it's a while since I've actually walked the streets of Newry, and I'm very impressed by how they're doing up the canal, the big walkway and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The walkway, it's very impressive.
It is.
And when they get that all finished, and it's a nice size of a place, Newry. You know, you can have a nice walk around, but it's not too big.
It's all in the flat.
And it's flat.
It's all level.
It's all on the level.
Oh, it's all on the level. And a big shout out to all the councillors in Newry for getting the walkway done. It's
fair play to them, you know.
Big shout out. You know. And I want somebody's back in for the Banter at some stage, and a load of the councillors and they're great. They're good out crack.
Well, progress has been made, and that's all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Well, that's they're doing their best for the people.
And since I've been down here the last few weeks, I've been reading about the bridge that they were talking about putting over Carnford Lock. So
narrow water, yeah.
All that sort of stuff. So I'm finding out about local issues down here. And
there you go. Watch out, Bernard's coming your way. I'm telling you. This is a EU journalist. Don't mess with him.
No,
you'll be in trouble.
Was an EU journalist. I'm now kind of mellowed and chilled.
And freelance as well.
Yes.
Freelance.
Free chance.
Free chance. I like it. Are you still up in Glengormley?
No. Born and bred in Glengormley, but my parents, they moved out of Glengormley in the late 90s. But when I came back from my continental lifestyle, I was to and fro for a little while, but I eventually bought a place in North Belfast, much closer to the city centre. So I'm in North Belfast. I'm actually in the city now.
You're a city man.
Yeah, I've whereas beforehand, when I lived in Glengormley and went to school in Belfast, they thought you were a foreigner. They thought you were from another planet. Even though it was only 6 miles from the city centre, they considered you a culture.
Well, now you can imagine being from Newry and meeting people in Belfast.
I can imagine.
Jeez, boys, you're from the country.
The people in Belfast couldn't get their heads around. I mean, that's another galaxy. In Newry, you'd be seen as another galaxy.
It would. And they weren't too far away. It wasn't all a galaxy back in the days.
Well, let's say who were the spacers. You know, the Belfast ones or the Newry ones, sir.
It's hard to know who was the best type of spacer. You know what I mean? There's, you know, with some really good ones about here, like so.
I'm sure you have.
But Belfast is a big city, so
yeah.
Belfast wins. You have all the spacers up there. He's having a great time. So what's going to happen after you're finished in this department here?
Well, you know, I've come down here for a few months. I'm hoping to put together my own communications. I don't know if I want to use the word business, practice, and I'm involved in cultural stuff as well. I've set up a non-profit making cultural organisation, but I also want to do more of the communications facilitation work. So I'll mix the two a little bit. And, you know, like all ex-journalists or journalists, the idea of doing your own writing is always somewhere at the back of your mind. Whether I'll ever find the discipline to get down on writing that book or 3 that I've always said I would.
Well, a book or 3. Now, there's definitely 1 coming out. I like your style. You never say my book or our book. You have a book or 3. That means yes, we're going to get a book out of Bernard.
If you write 1, then you have to have, you know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, don't you?
And funny enough, best wishes to Big Phil Howard. He's maybe more than halfway through his autobiography, The Middleman, and it's going to be made into a film coming soon.
Good luck to Phil.
Phil, yeah.
Right, that's good. Anybody
yours truly is going to be in the film, so
excellent.
Can't wait, you know.
Yeah. So yes, you know, anybody that does a bit of scribbling always has, like, you know, I've seen you interview young musicians here and stuff like that. I guess anybody that has a little creative side, you want to, particularly as you get older, you want to think, has my life been, what's it all been worth? And, you know, if you can, you know, produce a book or take part in a film or play a few tunes that might, you know, have some kind of, it gives your, it's creating your legacy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You want to leave your imprint on the...
Well, yeah, that's it. You want to leave some type of mark.
Yeah.
You know,
I was here.
Yeah, just before you get either burnt or sodded or whatever,
yeah.
you know.
You don't want to. You don't want your only legacy to be empty bottles. You don't.
No, because you know somebody will get money out of them somewhere. You know what I mean? That's it. When you die, they want your stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, so you're still writing, and
yes.
you actually, that's your life, really, isn't it? That was your main job.
Writing really is. I think there's only been 2 things that I've been half good at. As I said, my father owned a bar in Belfast, and I always had a sort of love-hate thing with the bar trade. But if push comes to shove, I can pull a pint. And I think apart from being able to pull a pint, I can scribble a few lines. So apart from those 2 things, I don't think there's many other things I'm very good at.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at making stuff with the hands. I mean, I know a teacher at school said to me, you know, he better do something like writing or whatever, because he hasn't hands on him, you know, to do
for
anything.
Work, for doing
working
with the hands.
Real work, you know, making joinery or
bricklaying or
whatever.
Anything.
You know, you wouldn't like to see the wall I would build or the roof I would put on.
Definitely not. We're not going to your house if it's self-built.
I could pull an odd pint and
that's good.
Do a wee bit of scribbling, write a bit of poetry.
And do you actually write physically with the pen?
Yeah, I still like doing that, Tony, actually, and it's funny you should ask that. There is something satisfying about the physical act of writing, and just recently, in recent times, I've reverted to using the old technology, the pencil. I thought I had one with me. The actual, you know,
the USB pen.
Just the pencil. No, the
pencil.
A lead and a pencil.
HB pencil.
Yes, that you learned to write in primary school. I have actually reverted to pencils again, and there's something very satisfying about just scribbling with a pencil on a notebook.
Just feels so basic, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the good thing is, you know, in these tight austerity times, you can rub out and you can use the notebook again.
You know, like you don't see anybody doing this nowadays, do you? Really?
But it actually gives you a great sense
Yeah.
of the written word unfolding and being born on the page. You know?
Yeah, and you can see it happening in front of you. Just
Yeah, and it brings you back to childhood memories.
back to the
of-
old school days.
Yeah, you know, when you were getting walloped by a teacher in school. You know?
Getting the hands slapped off you
Absolutely,
by
yeah.
the Christian brothers.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
For all our sins.
Oh yes, indeed. So you're back writing, and you're here for a few weeks.
I'm here, it could be for a few months, Tony. I'm coming down 3 days a week. I'm doing some training, extra training now on film and TV, because I want to get a bit of a handle on the basics of filmmaking. I've done some filmmaking when I was in Outer West Belfast.
Right.
I did a short documentary on the Belfast Harpers Festival recently with a community television company up in Belfast.
Very good.
And I would like, going forward, to maybe try a bit more documentary making along with the writing, and as I say, involved in cultural stuff as well. So it's all to unfold, and I take a big interest in what's going on in the world, both, as I said earlier, globally but locally as well.
Yeah.
I'm coming down to Newry, which was a town my father was very fond of, being a Blaney man. It's good to see what's happening at a local level, because, as I say, sometimes people up in Belfast think, people that live in a city thinks there's only one universe.
That's it.
But you come down to Newry and you hear about the bridge over Carlingford Lough, or about the canal, and about the cruise ship coming into Warren Point. You realise there's a whole other life going on in
That's
other
right,
places,
yeah. Because it is easy to forget,
And it's a beautiful part of the world. I mean, with the Slieve Gullion and
the Ring of Gullion and the Mourne Mountains.
the Mourne Mountains and the Coolies just across
the Cooley
Lough.
Mountains,
Yeah,
Carlingford Lough, beautiful.
Yeah,
The whole
yeah.
way down that coast to Newcastle, even and beyond.
Yeah.
It is fabulous.
Lovely part of the world, and I know the village of First Trevor, and it's as pretty a village as exists in the whole. Well, certainly in Ulster, but I mean it's as pretty a village as you'll get in any part of Ireland. Huh?
Yeah, it's like Newry's version of Carlingford.
Yeah,
And they're only opposite each other across the loch.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Carlingford Lough, and it is beautiful. And see the weather like that.
Well, weather like this, it's. I mean,
have you been up around the mountain areas looking down on the loch?
I haven't been, as I say, I'm basically commuting between Belfast and Newry 3 days a week.
No, there's not much time for tourism.
I haven't had a chance to do the sightseeing, but I'm sure I will actually. I'm sure as the next couple of months unfold, I'll take time out.
We'll give you a couple of pointers. We'll tell you where to go and how easy it is to get to.
Well, sure, you'll send me out with a camera maybe, and I'll film the beauty spots.
We could even
sing the praises of Newry.
We could do an outdoor banter up on the mountain.
The top of Slieve Gullion.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yes, absolutely.
And I tell you, it'd be beautiful up there today because the view,
Yeah.
and it's a clear day.
Yeah.
And because you go up there some days when it's even grey skies here, and you go up there and it's low cloud, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's incredible, but on a day like that, go up and have a look about. Wow.
It'd be breathtaking, I'm sure.
It certainly is,
breathtaking, yeah.
Well, it's got to that time, unfortunately, Bernard. We're only scratching the surface with this man here. We only just got started, and the next thing we're getting the time out again. But sure, that's the way the Banter show goes.
That's how electronic media works.
That's how it goes. Well, listen, Bernard, maybe get you in again.
Absolutely, Tony.
And we'll get more info out of Bernard on the EU and all those other stories.
As the Americans say, it's been a lot of fun.
It's been fun. It's been fun. So, friends all around the globe, thanks for tuning in again. Tune back in, and we'll be back here with more stories on the Banter show. So, from me and Bernard, two on the right, Bernard, one on the left.
What?
2 on the right, 1 on the left.
2 on the right and 1 on the left.
And then we'll just give him the riser.
The riser.
Good morning, Bernard. From me and Bernard.
Destination Banter with Tony Smith. Riser.